Hello, BookTube. It's Roz.
And Tilly.
And Alf sitting on the floor because there's no chairs.
An interloper.
He only decided to join us mere moments ago. So chair provision was out of the question.
Nor has he heard what the questions are, because it's Tag Tuesday and late in the day, but we're going to get out before midnight. We're doing a bonus tag because we're together.
Yeah, making the most of the family bubble.
And it's the 20 random questions tag.
I'm completely blind on this. It's fun.
And created by Steve because he's nosy. Steve Donahue. And I was tagged by Hannah.
Lovely.
Of Hannah's books.
And I've got the questions here.
So let's go for it.
Fire away. What's the nearest place to you that's so famous everybody knows it, and how near is it? You two go first.
You can go first, Alf.
Well, I mean, is this talking about where I am now?
No.
Where you live, surely.
Where you live.
Like, I don't think anywywhere is so famous that literally everyone's heard of it. I mean, presumably, like, the people on the North Andaman Islands haven't heard of any locations that I know. But I'd say that, I guess, like, Brighton Pavilion or Brighton Pier are, like, the iconic things in Brighton that everyone has heard of. Or if you wanted to go for a higher level of recognisability, London is, like...
also quite famous.
Quite famous, really.
Yeah. So Brighton Pier is, like, a mile and a bit.
Yeah, it's,
so,
20-minute walk
and
at
Pavilion.
brisk pace.
Yeah. And London's like 50 miles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to second...
I know because I walked it.
Yeah. I'm going to second what Alfred said. Like, remember one time being abroad and telling somebody that I came from the United Kingdom, and they said, "Oh yeah, that's a state in America, isn't it?" So, nowhere is... we may think that we're well recognised, but, but I think... within the literary sphere, the places near to me that are so famous that most of you guys might well have heard of it is Haworth, which is where the Bronte sisters grew up, which is also in Yorkshire. But Yorkshire's quite a big place, so it's probably at least an hour's drive away.
As much as that?
Yeah, potentially.
Then maybe 30.
Or
York.
York is also quite famous, and that's also relatively close.
Yeah. Brilliant. Okay, question number 2.
Have you ever had a paper cut so bad you thought you might die of it?
No.
No. No. But what Hannah did was she gave a book-related injury story. So you can have my book-related injury story that is freshest in my mind, because I have more than one probably. But this one was that I was at my book group just about a month and a bit ago.
Spoiling the story.
And because we're all socially distancing, we were in my book group member's garden, down the bottom of the garden, sitting around a fire pit. It was a lovely evening. We talked about books. I had a drink, not more than one, just one. It became very dark. I was the first to leave because I had work the next day. I headed back up the garden in the pitch dark. There was a lamp on the ground in the middle of the garden. So I stepped around the lamp to avoid the lamp and found myself up to my armpits in pond.
The lamp having been put there to stop people falling in the pond.
Carefully lighting the water features, and then everybody would see that it was there.
There was pond weed. Yeah. There you go.
If we're talking about book-related injuries, Alf, I think you've got a good one for that.
Oh, I did put out my shoulder by constantly leaning like this to read books.
I know, I was thinking about the time that the bookshelf fell off the wall onto your bed.
That didn't actually injure me, it was just very disconcerting.
It was scary.
Yeah.
Oh, the scream. Yeah.
But I don't think I've even got any good book-related injuries.
There we go, let alone a paper cut.
So question number 3. Have you ever found anything genuinely valuable in a used book you bought?
If only.
Yeah.
What about you?
I think I found like a really old Scottish £5 note that's worth about 20 quid.
Oh,
really?
That's quite good. Yeah, that counts.
Oh, wait. Wisdom.
Oh, priceless. That is.
That's a good one. I used to work in a second-hand bookshop for a while, or a charity bookshop, Books for Amnesty, and as part of the book sorting process, you would get to look through all of the new books that came in. So I did find lots and lots of things in second-hand books, but mostly they were like stubs of used tickets. So the ticket itself would have been quite valuable, but it was obviously always used. Yeah. Not much.
You didn't find what Jason
find?
Bowie's in Bookland, in old books. He says that he regularly finds Polaroid pictures of like naked people.
Regularly.
Apparently.
Regularly.
Some
to watch
weird
this video.
exhibitionist that like donates to the used bookshop that he
Specifically
uses.
to his, yeah.
Anyway, next question.
Question number 4. Have you ever read, met or married Jacques Barzon? Who even is
No.
Jacques Barzon?
No, I should have read him because he's like a historian come literary critic. He was like one of those Renaissance men that like knew about everything. And he wrote one book that was like 500 years of like European civilization or something, you know.
Yeah.
But no.
But no. Okay. Aside from your pets, what is the specific non-human animal you see most often?
I've got an answer for that.
Yeah. Our not quite pet seagull friend.
Yeah, we have a lockdown herring gull. Herring gull that we
practically
adopted.
counts as a pet now.
No,
It's
it's a
a
wild animal.
Time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Explain.
Well,
We put food out in the garden for birds. Like Rolls puts food out in the garden for birds because it's it's a nice thing to do.
you do.
And there's this herring gull that like started showing up. Obviously because there's no tourists.
Because
so
herring
there's
gulls
no-
eat food that.
Yeah.
Because normally the herring gulls in Brighton,
Or
their
on the beach mobbing
tourists.
tourists.
main source of food is
Fish and chips bought
yeah,
by.
and they swoop in over people's shoulders and snatch away their freshly bought fish and chips or their donuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, or their ice creams. I've
Or
seen them
this-
take
but-
ice creams.
But obviously this isn't happening, so they're loitering around the suburbia being like, food.
Feed.
And we took pity on this one and just sort of,
Because
like,
it had cuddly chicks
you
on
could
the
see on the roof
chimney
opposite.
So we gave it scraps and leftover cat food. And now
Pampering this seagull.
and now it brings its fully grown chick to the garden to teach it that
This is where food is. It's going to be an infestation before they know it. It's a very unwise decision.
very unwise. But herring gulls are beautiful.
It got caught in our garden. The fledgling got caught in our garden before it could fly, and we had to like carefully bundle it up in a towel and put it
Rescue
on a
it.
roof.
Yeah.
So I live
Well, like
near...
next door dog, I guess technically is probably seen more often than that gull, but that doesn't really feel like a.
Yeah,
good answer.
that is a pet though.
It's not. This is
Anyway,
your pet.
Do carry on.
I live near to a reservoir. It's an urban reservoir, so it's not as attractive as it sounds. But I walk across it to get to the bus. Well, I don't at the moment because I don't get the buses at the moment. But theoretically, I walk across it every morning to get the bus. And there are a lot of ducks there, so I see the ducks very often. But there's also swans. And last year, I was able to watch the family of swans, where all the little baby swans grew up. And like now I can go and see the teenage swans and be like, oh, I knew when you were little, which is quite nice.
And sometimes you see a kingfisher.
Yeah, but sadly not
the
it's
most
not the
common.
most common
Yeah.
thing to see.
Next question.
Question number 6 is: have you ever been inside a cathedral? If more than one, do you have a favourite?
Have you ever been
Been
inside
inside
a
a
cathedral?
We
What
have
a
the-
silly question.
We have the advantage of being in a country that's got quite a lot of cathedrals.
Yeah.
And
We live in
visiting
Europe.
countries that have cathedrals. Yeah.
Cathedrals.
Yeah.
Proper history over here. That's lovely.
They have cathedrals in America around.
So my initial problem with this question is that sometimes I can't remember what is a cathedral because my first reaction was, like Beverly Minster, because it's got Beverly Cathedral, because it's got these really beautiful rock like stone carved gargoyle type
Oh, it's
features on
great,
the inside.
yeah.
It's really intricate, but it is a minster instead of a cathedral. And what is a minster, you may be asking, if you don't know what a minster is. And a minster is basically
Any church that's like allowed to be called a minster because it was given that privilege by the Church of England in the 15th century, or had it by default because it predated churches being called things other than minsters.
Yeah.
So origins in about the
If
7th
they
century.
had like a community of pre-monastic
Clergy or something.
clergy.
just reasons,
Just
basically.
reasons. Yeah. Load of rubbish reasons.
Or the religious buildings that I tend to like the most are ruins, but they are generally abbeys.
Abbeys,
Rather
Yeah.
than cathedrals.
monasteries,
Yeah,
priories,
all of those things.
all of those. I love a cathedral.
They're
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. It's really hard to choose. I'll
I'm going to
try.
go with the Hagia Sophia, which obviously is now a mosque, having previously been a museum and then a mosque, and then I guess a basilica rather than a cathedral, but like, who cares? That's the same
theme is
thing.
there, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it is
it's a good
beautiful.
choice.
It is
Yeah,
very
that
nice.
is
It's
a
a
good
stunning
choice.
cathedral.
it's got some lovely graffiti.
Yeah.
Kaftan was here.
Best cathedral near here is York Minster, which is a cathedral.
As well as a minster.
being
Just to confuse
Yeah.
things even more.
Yeah.
And the cathedral that I eventually said I would choose is Seville, because you said
Yes.
that you had a different option.
Yeah.
So Seville Cathedral was, just to add to the confusion, it was originally a mosque, and then it was turned into a cathedral, so it's got this really cool tower from when it was a mosque that you can then go up
The Geraldic Tower.
Yeah,
And you
it's
see
got,
peregrine falcons. Yeah.
I was going to say that.
Oh, sorry.
Carry on.
Can I pick my cathedral?
Yeah,
now?
you can, yeah.
Okay. My favourite UK cathedral is possibly Salisbury because it has the best spire. It's really fine spire.
Got a lot of Russian tourists going to look at the spire in Salisbury
Right,
Cathedral.
it's true that. Yes. Oh, the ones that poisoned people, didn't they?
Allegedly poisoned people.
But actually, they were coming to see the spire. On
They
the
were
cathedral.
just tourists.
Just tourists. My favourite cathedral is the Duomo in Syracuse in Sicily, because this is
the
one
ultimate.
up this cathedral, because this cathedral started life as a Greek temple, yeah. Then it was a Roman temple, just carrying on really. Then in the 7th century it became a basilica for the first kind of bishop of that bit of Sicily. Then it became a mosque. Then it went back to being a cathedral. It has the most. When there's an earthquake in 1673, something like that, sometime in the 17th century, it was rebuilt with a beautiful and extraordinary wedding cake baroque front.
Wow.
Yeah, but it still has the Greek temple columns down either side. So how cool is that?
That is quite a cool
There you
cathedral
go.
story. Thank you, Steve, for asking us a cathedral-related story.
See, you made the family happy.
Yeah. So question number 7, I like this one, is have you ever been actually seeing and hearing things delirious?
No.
No?
Yes. So I get to see quite a lot of people who are seeing and hearing things delirious, but it helps that I can relate to a certain extent, because a long time ago now I went to Guatemala and I went straight, flew straight and then went on a bus straight away to somewhere that was at high altitude. And for my first weekend activity, fairly soon after arriving, like 2 days later,
High altitude.
yeah,
base.
yeah, I decided to go to somewhere that was even at an even higher altitude, which was, if anybody's ever been there, Lago de Atitlan, which is quite a large lake. And for my first activity in this first place that I went to, I decided to climb a volcano, and I decided to do this the morning after arriving in that place, and I had to set out at 4 o'clock in the morning. So I got up at 4 o'clock in the morning, I joined this group of people walking up this mountain, increasingly struggling, thinking, I thought I was healthier than this, one foot in front of the other, and then things started coming out of the bushes, and things were swirling around on the floor,
Altitude sickness.
and I felt really sick and uncomfortable and so tired.
There's
and I
no oxygen, the brain don't go.
Oxygen essential, you know.
got to the top of this mountain. It was amazing, beautiful views, and I was really relieved to get to the top. But yeah, the experience was in some ways dampened, but in retrospect, in some ways, improved and made more interesting.
This tag really is Cook Family Talks About Places that they visited. Tag, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're only 7 questions in.
Faster. Next question.
Okay. 8. Do you have blood relatives who read for pleasure?
Yes, we do.
I'm not related to any of these people. I don't know what you're talking about.
Question 9.
How many species have you smooched? Smack dab on the lips.
Ew.
None other than humans. How disgusting.
I have had a number of cats that have been very determined to attempt to smooch me, smack down on the lips, but
Probably the occasional spider when you're asleep, but that is probably an urban myth. But
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, definitely.
definitely urban
Yeah.
myth. But the squirrels that used to come and mess up your hair in
Yeah.
the night.
No, those were real. I don't know.
They were real squirrels that came into his room and messed his hair up in the night.
Yeah, definitely.
And I bet they smooched you too.
Steve wouldn't lie about that sort of thing.
No. That's our Steve.
Steve Dad, yeah.
Yeah. Next question.
Do you ever listen to the radio? Any favourite programme or person?
Radio 4 every morning.
Smooth radio is the only thing that musically motivates you to get through a night shift. So yeah, smooth radio
What
for
do they
those.
play on Smooth Radio?
Just non-stop ballads.
Oh, right.
Really
That would keep
not
me
high
awake at
quality music, but it's kind
Gets
of
you through a night shift.
yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, Radio 4, obviously. Favourite programme? Oh, now, I think I know your favourite programme.
I mean, there's the one that I'd say because I want to impress the people on this channel, which is
Oh.
obviously In Our Time by Melvin Bragg. Look at me, I'm such an intellectual.
But what is your actual favourite programme, though?
It's probably the Today programme, because that's the only one that I listen to, because I only actually listen to that radio at breakfast time. Otherwise, I'll have other sources of content.
But it has to be just a minute.
But that's not on anymore, is it?
Of course it is.
I thought the man died.
But no, he hasn't died yet.
No, he has.
He has.
Oh no, he's died.
He's died.
I forgot he died. No, just a minute.
Every time that we meet up, you have to be reminded of that. That's happened when we were in the Forest of Poland as well.
Okay.
If that was still on, that would definitely be my favourite.
Should we move on from this sad news?
I'm sorry, I haven't a clue instead.
Have you ever been to the
on.
Eiffel Tower, the Leaning Tower of Pisa, or the Louvre? Or the Louvre?
Yes, no, yes.
Yes. I mean, like
Yes
obviously,
to all of them.
I've been to all of them more than once.
Okay. I've seen the Eiffel Tower. I don't know if I've ever been like right up to it.
Oh.
And I think we went to the Louvre together on a school trip to France.
Oh.
But
Gifted and talented, wasn't
yeah.
it?
You must have been to the Louvre when we were
Yeah.
visiting.
Yeah.
My brother, uncle.
yeah, probably. I haven't been to the Louvre recently enough. I'd like to go back sometime soon.
You should.
And I haven't been to the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
I've been to the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and I don't know if you can still go up the Leaning Tower of Pisa, but when I went in about 1981, you could go up it, and it's like made of like shiny kind of marbly sort of stone, you know, and you go up and you go out on the upper layers, and there's no like railing or anything. And,
God!
And it's leaning. It's like health and safety gone mad.
I bet you can't go up on there now.
Who knows?
Probably put like a fence up.
Someone will tell us in the comments.
Yeah. What little thing do you miss the most that you've lost due to the pandemic?
My walk to work, reading a book. I used to read as I walked to work. I miss that. You?
Like,
Oh, LARPing.
that's not a little thing though. You know,
That's a big.
yeah.
That's a
What I'm
big.
going to say is the tactile enjoyment of rolling dice when doing tabletop role-playing games. Because I'm still doing them, but it's online with digital dice rolls, and it's just not the same as picking up, like 66 and throwing them and going like, yeah, fireball.
Yeah.
Just doesn't hit the same.
No.
I've lost various big things due to the pandemic,
Like-
up to and including my sanity. But the little
Your
thing,
proper wedding, which is a big thing.
proper honeymoon.
Proper honeymoon, yeah, that's a big thing.
But I can't really miss those things because I didn't have them in the first place. But the little thing that I miss the most is my socks, because they've all decided to fall apart during the pandemic, and I still am not in a place where I feel comfortable going into a clothes shop to get some nice, good quality socks to replace all my socks.
Just
Online-
go to.
online-
But you need to be able to feel them and see that
Online
they're
shopping?
definitely okay
just-
socks.
if they don't feel right, send them back and order some new ones.
Okay, so I've
What
lost.
do you
I've lost socks.
You've lost socks.
Yeah, like,
You
put
lose
it
socks.
on the registry. There we go.
And what little thing do you miss the least that you've lost due to the pandemic?
Going out. Having to go out. I can say no to like invitations now and nobody questions it. It's great.
Because it's like, oh no, pandemic, can't do that
Can't
now.
do that.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the sort of slight guilt when you don't go outside all day.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't miss getting the bus. Like, I used to quite like the 5 minutes of reading on the bus, but I used to hate standing and waiting for the bus and it not showing up. So, and I've been walking into work more, which is a good thing.
That
And
is a good
also
thing.
depending on my lovely partner to take me. But
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Now, next question kind of relates to me being happy to not have to go out.
yeah, question number 14. What is your relationship with small talk? Hate it like acid, love it, or merely competent?
Small talk. Do you like small?
No.
No, none of us do small talk.
I would say I am merely competent at it. It's quite important in my job to be able to make small talk with a range of people.
Now,
I'm not as good as a lot of my colleagues are at it, to be quite honest.
and that is that because I don't count that as small talk. I mean, what I mean is I can talk to anyone in a work capacity because I'm like putting on
you do.
an act.
Hello, Bonding College. How can I help?
Yeah, no, but that's not small talk. But I mean, like,
Yeah.
if you're working with somebody all day long and you're trying to keep their spirits up or distract them from the fact that they're just sat
It would
in
be
a
really
hospital
good
bed,
to be able
you
to
have
like
you have to
which
try
one
and
about
create.
football or boy bands or
Yeah.
whatever is appropriate to their age and yes.
I had somebody the other day who liked reading books. That was brilliant. That was not hard to have small talk.
So, more questions.
Yes. Question number 15, have you ever won money at gambling?
No, because I don't gamble.
Yes, but like not in a big way.
I've occasionally bought a lottery ticket and occasionally won like £10, which, you know...
Yeah. It's hardly gambling, really. That's
Yeah.
what it is.
It's like winning £5 at poker with your mates isn't gambling ever, really, is it?
Yeah.
But I just don't.
Yeah.
Never.
No, really. It's just not. It's not me.
You used to buy the lottery all the time.
No, I have never bought a lottery ticket in my life.
Yeah.
Not once. I wouldn't even know how to do it.
And moving on to something that you definitely do then. Do
Yes.
you ever give money or time to charities?
Do you ever not give time to charity?
Ros works for a charity and definitely works probably double her hours, so she gives a lot of time to charity.
Double is an underestimate.
No. But I do have other charity. I mean, I volunteer. I've officially volunteered for things. I always have. I volunteer again. Yeah. So do both of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've been serial volunteers.
I'm going to put in a shameless plug here because I volunteer for an organisation called FAST, the First Aid Support Team. FAST has a YouTube channel called Fast Calais, and there's going to be a new video coming out on that channel imminently. So, you know, go and subscribe to Fast Calais, and then I will link to that video when it comes up.
Yeah, and it's very good volunteering that you do with them. Yeah.
It's first aid for refugees and undocumented migrants.
Yeah.
But yeah, moving on from that shameless advertising of the video.
Next one.
Question number 17 is, do you craft, knitting, crochet, woodwork, pottery throwing? You guys are going to have to hold this for a minute while I go and get some craft examples.
Okay.
All of this will be Bone, not Tilly. It's fake.
I'll get
Fake. I don't really craft. What I do is I make jam and chutney and
Puddings and
plum cheese and lemon curd, and I'm a preserves kind of
like
person.
the closest you get to craft is like minor like fixing seams and stuff.
It's a sewing. I can use a sewing machine. You
Costume and other gubbins for LARPing. Quite a lot.
He does things with leather and
not like big exciting. Well, like I made.
I was quite excited when you made like a leather bag.
Yeah. Yes.
And like hoods with
linings and stuff.
Linings and cloaks and Here
and robes
and robes
all this sort of thing.
All that sort of thing.
Sorry.
But here comes Tilda.
So my lockdown activity was I taught myself to make this hideously ugly blanket. It's so ugly.
At this point, we're supposed to say, no, Tilda, it's gorgeous.
But they refuse to do it because
it's a very bold colour scheme.
Ugly.
It's
ugly.
It's an unusual choice of colours.
It's also like really stiff.
So mean. It's not my. It was the wool that was available. So that there's in Aldi they had all of this wool, and I just got loads of it and turned it into a blanket. It's also like really weirdly proportioned because that's one end of it is like that long, and the other is like.
Just drown me in this blanket, Tilda. It's fine.
But what Tilda does do,
except I can't do it anymore. This is the thing that I missed due to lockdown.
Miss.
Is I do pottery classes. So this is a bowl that I made a while ago.
But they're closed.
But yeah, we can't do them because
her person has made an entire garage with like a roof and electrics and benches and stuff over lockdown. So of the people currently within this house,
I mean, he made this little crochet whale.
It's probably something that he turned on the lathe back there as well.
Yes,
You could put,
no, actually not there, but
Basically, Bo makes
Bo is very craft
all
adept.
kinds of things. Yeah. You should do a thing of Bo's crafts sometime.
Yeah, show off things that he's made.
Show off things he's made because they're so nice. Okay.
Question number 18. Do you talk to yourself when you're alone? I talk to my cat. Doesn't everybody?
I only talk to myself when I'm running. Because I do.
Positive self-talk.
I do motivational speeches to myself when I'm out running. Yeah.
Like, not a lot, but probably occasionally I'll mutter stuff to myself when I'm alone. Like, Not like it's not like a monologue. It's not like a strong habit, but like, you know.
Yeah. It's a relatively common thing to do.
I'll make exclamations or say, I need to remember that or whatever. But like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I talk to Luna
Harmless.
because then I feel less like I'm talking to myself, but I'm talking to myself.
Well, I'm talking to like my computer or whatever, which is
Yeah.
Oh, we're swearing at technology is.
Oh yeah, well that's an
doesn't count.
exception. No, because then you're talking to your device.
That's true. Any more questions?
Yeah, 2 more questions. Question number 19: were you or are you a social queen bee in college? No, definitely not.
No.
I think sixth form college is the time when I was most socially engaged and adept.
Yeah,
I don't know I was
friends.
ever like a king bee, but like I like more so than I am now or was before.
Yeah.
Although
Yeah.
that's obviously sixth form rather than college. I don't know if that's meant to be college in the American sense.
Yeah.
Presumably.
To be fair, in the American sense, I was president of the Nerdy Stuff Society.
Yeah.
at
Oh,
the
that's
college.
true.
Yeah,
So-
you were a king bee of the nerdy circles.
Yeah, I mean, like, and to be fair, I ran on a platform of we need a president or we can't have a society, and no one else ran against me. So,
Works.
Do you know, well, I was going to say no, I wasn't, but then I was actually elected as a sabbatical officer for the student union. But that was like more like volunteering.
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, not Queen Bee.
So, are you a sunrise person or a sunset person? And can't you be both? But yeah, if you have to pick one, presumably that's the premise.
Yeah. Well, the problem with sunrises is that they're like early in the morning.
So I think, like, aesthetically, I prefer sunrises.
Yes.
And there's like a window in the winter where my walk to work is during the bit of sunrise where the sky is really beautiful, and I inevitably at the one bit where there's a big vista will take a picture of the clouds.
Yes.
Because clouds.
I just like taking pretentious pictures of clouds. Okay.
He's been taking some today because we took him on a walk.
Yeah. But most of the year, sunrise.
There is that like
Dawn chorus is nice. If I've walked all night and then heard the dawn chorus and walked into like the sunrise, and that
Which is obviously something you do often.
that was
Yeah.
very special.
stepping in for the sort of defence of sunsets. Not so much sunsets themselves, but there is that period of time after the sunset where like there's the kind of like the sky's still blue rather than black. That's like
Yeah.
quite lovely.
Blue time.
I think they've got different merits. So sunset is quite often a social thing. Like you might be with a group of people as the evening emerges, and you are in a group watching the sunset. And
inside when the sun sets.
Yeah.
Basically every
but
time.
any time that I've tended to, many times when I've seen a sunset, it's been in a group situation, and my fondest memories of nice sunsets I've seen have been in groups.
That's lovely.
But I would have to choose sunrise, which tends to be a lonely experience, but in a nice way, because you get this feeling that you're the only one there and you're the only one seeing this amazing, beautiful thing that's happening.
You do get to unlock like secret feelings when you're awake earlier in the morning than usual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Secret feelings like I should be asleep.
being somebody who works quite a lot of night shifts, the opportunity to see or starts a lot of early mornings as well, the opportunity to see more sunrises is possibly the only perk.
There you go.
So yeah.
Was that the 20th question?
That was the 20th question, and Steve already tagged everybody. So there's no point trying to
Everybody
tag
in the whole
anybody
world.
else.
Yeah.
I can't even tag Tilly as I normally do because she's right here and she's already answered me.
Yeah.
So, do it if you feel like it, and I hope it's less
good
silly
fun.
than us. It's fun, yes. Do it with your family. Why not?
Yeah. Involve everybody.